Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with one of the absolute gems of the Naxos catalog and one of the most hidden sort of surprises in the catalog of a conductor that everybody claims to admire, but people don't know so much about, Peter Maag. Now, Peter Maag, as you know, was sort of, one of these guys who decided that he needed to take a lot of time off to deal with his spiritual well-being, which was entirely admirable. But as a conductor, he specialized more or less, or at least on record, in Mozart and Mendelssohn and stuff that everybody else had done before. He did a Verdi opera or two, but not a lot. His discography wasn't huge. It was all reissued recently by Australian Eloquence, all the Decca stuff anyway. But he did a Beethoven cycle in Italy, and that was on Arts Music, and another Mendelssohn cycle. It wasn't the kind of music that was going to get him a lot of attention because everybody was doing it, even though he did it very well for the most part. He really did. But this is something else entirely. And who knew it even existed? I mean, it really is just one of those delicious surprises. It's Malipiero orchestral music featuring the Veneto Philharmonic Orchestra, and the music is wonderful. Malipiero, for those of you who don't know, not exactly a household word, is he? Was born in 1882 and died in 1973. He had an enormous career, a long career. He wrote tons and tons and tons of music. He was of the same generation as Respighi and Alfredo Casella and those people, Ildebrando Pizzetti. There's a whole slew of them, and they're terrific. They're really, really fine composers. Malipiero, however, wrote so much music, and it's so hard to dig through it. I mean, there's, over a dozen symphonies, for example. And as he got older, his style got sort of like crabbed and cranky and chromatic, and it kind of dried up, which was a little sad. And there was lots, he just kept writing. There was tons and tons of it. So you have to be kind of picky about what you get. But a lot of it is really, really good, especially the music he wrote in like the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, in that period. Had he stopped there, we would have just said, oh, he's wonderful, left it at that. He was also a tremendous musical scholar. He rediscovered, effectively, Vivaldi. He was involved in the publication of Vivaldi's Concerti and a lot of earlier Italian music of the Baroque period and before. And so he was a major, major, major force in Italian music. And on this disc, we get 7 inventions, a little suite, 4 inventions, the symphonic fragments from his opera Il Finto Arlecchino, that's the fake Harlequin, and Vivaldiana, which is a delightful little suite based on actual Vivaldi concerti. He reorchestrates them and rearranges them and regroups them, 6 of them actually, in 2 groups of 3. And it's delightful. It's absolutely delightful. If you know your Vivaldi, you may have some fun playing around with figuring out what works they come from. I'm not going there. Life is too short. It's just enjoyable. But the inventions are really, really fascinating. There are 2 groups, 7 and then 4. And that's the big work is the 7 inventions. It lasts almost half an hour. This was film music. It was written for a film called Steel. Acciaio in Italian or something like that, based on a scenario by Pirandello. I mean, it was so hoity-toity. And he wrote the score with great love and care, and then, of course, the director didn't use it. And the director was a guy named Ruttman. It's all in the notes here somehow. And so he took out the bits and arranged them into 2 instrumental suites. He loved the music that he wrote for this film, and it is marvelous. It's delightful, delightful music. It's fantastic. And I'm going to play you the final movement of the 7 inventions, the Sette Invenzioni, pardon me. And they are really, 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 really good. It's just good music, good, solid, enjoyable, pleasant, fun music to listen to. And I think this is a great record. I mean, it's just one of those records, you know, you look at it and you go, oh, Peter Maag, huh? Wow, Malipiero. Wow, who knew? Exactly, who knew? But there it is. Let's listen to the last of these 7 inventions. Isn't that great? I mean, it's just wonderful stuff. And it is technically a film score, but it was arranged as concert music, and there's four more after the first seven. And then you get the opera excerpts and Vivaldiana. What a delightful record. There is nothing here not to love. It's as enjoyable as, it's one of those things. You get it, it disappears in your collection, or you don't look at or notice it at all. But there you go. Peter Maag did do more than Mozart and Mendelssohn. And here is the evidence. I think that's just terrific. Absolutely terrific in many respects, from the composer to the conductor to the label. It's all a discovery, a wonderful discovery. So keep on listening, folks. Thanks for joining me. Take care.